right, and we're ready.
It's very in.
Hello and welcome to Balderdash Academy. I'm your headmaster, Bob LeBlanc. Joining me is our faculty, Coach of the Balderdash Academy Dashers, Coach Steve Corning.
That is my name.
Professor of English Language Arts, Molly McGill.
No promises.
Professor of Home Ec and Wellness, Marie Stewart Harmon.
Happy holidays and happy almost New Year!
And our reigning champion, 6-time reigning champion,
Wow.
Professor of STEAM, Nate Green.
Always promise something until midnight.
Our visiting professor today is Jesse Thal. Jesse is an LA-based audio and video editor producing content for Netflix, Warner Brothers, Universal, and more. You might know him as Jetsy, the electronic music artist. Jesse has agreed to be the scorekeeper tonight while our faculty members compete for the coveted reigning champion banner. They'll do their best to compete in our competitive comedy competition. At the end of each competition, Jesse will assign points to a competitor he feels is most worthy. He is not looking for the correct answer. You will likely not find the correct answer. The points are arbitrary and can be given to anyone at any time for any reason. At the end of the show, the faculty member with the highest point total will be named our reigning champion. And like I said before, our 6-time reigning champion defending his title is Professor Nate Green.
That's me.
I just knighted you.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
I slow
That's why I'm so
clapped you.
sleepy.
All right, so our first pop quiz is from Professor Molly McGill of English Language Arts. Molly, what do you have for us?
All right, faculty, and welcome, visiting professors. So great to have you here. As you know, we kick this party off with the word of the day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say the word of the day. These faculty members are going to try and tell you, Jesse, what it means. I'll review it for you, and then you give points as you see fit. Faculty, are you ready for the word of the day?
Yes!
Okay.
Nope.
So ready.
I love this energy. Okay, today's word of the day is glossolalia. Glossolalia. Glossolalia.
Oh,
Glossolalia.
Lalia.
Nate, what do you have for the meaning of glossolalia?
Glossolalia is an action verb, and what it is it's when you physically break through a glass ceiling. So like you're the first one to do it, because there can't be a second one because it's broken glass. And usually when that happens, you're yodeling on the way up. So you're like, glossolalia, you know, like that. And then you break the glass and hopefully don't die.
Okay, that was a great description of something.
Yay.
Bob, what do you have?
So, glossolalia is, glacé, right? The glossolalia is the clothing a person wears, the regalia, if you will, that a baker wears when glazing a cake.
Ooh.
Oh.
If you will.
If you will.
Delicious. Delicious
I want
answer.
glazed
Salivating.
cake.
Marie, what do you got?
Well, first I want some glazed cake right now, please. But glossolalia is actually a very, very unique kind of flower. It is a flower found only in the Ozarks, and it has see-through petals, glass-like petals, glossolalia. It is an annual flower.
Of course it is. Of course it's annual. Steve,
Yeah.
what do you have?
So glossolalia is actually a form of martial arts.
Oh.
Now, this is performed by a very specific group of people. These are people that have seen combat and have lost an eye and had to have that
Ooh.
eye replaced by a glass eye. Now, what they do is they use that glass eye for a variety of attacks. They'll bop you right in the face with it. They will kind of attach it to a string and do kind of a whippy thing where they whip you in the face with it. It's just incredible, and I hope someday you get to experience seeing these guys in action.
Wow, one could only wish. Thank you,
and
Steve.
girls, sorry, guys and girls.
Of course.
Thank you, Steve.
Of course. We are
That's the
inclusive
New
in
England
here.
gender neutral guy, is what you're talking
That's
about.
what I meant
Yes.
to do, but I didn't
Yes.
want to have women not
It's
feel
the
included
generalized.
in the glass eyeball attacking.
It's the generalized you. We get
Exactly.
it. We get it. We're very
Yeah, we got
inclusive. It is 2020, soon to be 2021. Okay, Jesse,
Finally.
here is what we have. We have Nate coming in telling us that it is breaking a glass ceiling while yodeling. We have Bob's delicious glazing. We have Marie's naked Ozark flower. It's an annual. And we have Steve's partially blind yo-yo martial arts.
Nice.
Ooh, who do you think deserves some points? Because I'm really curious.
It's a toss-up for sure. There were some real answers that I thought you guys were 100% read on this word, but
I know.
I'm not playing favorites when I say this, but my boy Steve's answer was the most, in my opinion, the most out there, craziest thing I never would have expected the word to be. So
Yep.
I'm going with
All
Steve's
right.
answer.
Nice.
Okay. How many points would you like to give him?
I would. What are the scores? What can I give it?
Whatever
Anything
you
you want,
want,
Jesse.
any
Whatever
total.
you
Yeah.
want.
What? Okay.
It can be
I will-
points. It can be food. It can be eternal
you know,
love.
I'm going with my favorite animal, my favorite fish, the blobfish. I will give you 5 blobfishes out of 10.
Ooh.
5
Wow.
blobfish.
5
Blob-
blobfishes.
blobfish.
I, just,
Nice.
I got
Yes.
blobfish on the mind recently, so I'm going for.
Don't we
Who
all?
doesn't?
Great.
Yeah.
Who
They're
doesn't?
amazing fish. They're cool creatures. Just look them up.
I'm doing that soon after this. So everyone, it is apparent that you have yet again not studied your vocab words of
I'm
the week.
sorry.
Jesse, Glossolalia, it's what you're going to be hearing a lot of tonight. It's a bunch of foolish talk.
Oh man.
Ooh, yeah.
You're in for it.
So then all the answers are the
Yeah.
right answer, and that's
Ooh, yes.
We're all winners.
That's deep.
yeah.
Whoa.
All right. Okay. So foolish talk, which is an excellent segue to 30 seconds or less. So before we move on to our next game, I will spin an opening icebreaker question for Jesse from the Balderdash randomizer.
Ooh.
The spin will generate a random question that Jesse will try to answer in 30 seconds or less. Now, these questions are anything. They can be about work, about personal, about random, whatever. Our first question, I can speak tonight. Our first question for Jesse. What is something people seem to misunderstand about your career?
Ooh, that is a very specific question. I was really expecting something more general here.
Yeah, heavy hitting right out of
That's
the
a
start
tough
here.
first question
Yeah.
for 30 seconds.
man.
It really
I
is.
know,
Yeah.
right? I know. Well,
Now, to let you know how these are formed, I have a list and I ran a number generator, and that number generator returned this question.
And the number generator
Alright.
hates you.
And
that's
yes,
what it feels
I
like.
did give you the backstory to give you enough time to stall
That
for
was
an
good. That's
answer.
good improv, Bob. I like that. That was good.
I like that. I like that too. No, you guys you're all making good points. I don't know. It oftentimes, probably it oftentimes comes from people that don't really understand the shift that we've had in the modern age to go to digital from analog. So a lot of when I do in video, it's all on the computer now, and people always assume, "Oh, are you in front of one of those big boards operating?" No, it's just a computer. It's boring. So I would say that is the big grandiose illusion people have of video, guys, which is that there's this huge room. No, it's a MacBook.
So, having trained on deck-to-deck avids linked through a video toaster,
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Yes.
So our first game is called 4 Questions. Like Jesse's website says, He's a video editor who loves pugs. And so tonight's 4 questions will be about those lovable fuzzballs, the pugs.
Yes!
Yes, let's go.
Oh,
So-
I'm surprised we didn't go blobfish, but okay.
Those are more of a recent obsession. To me,
Okay.
they
So there you
them and
go,
pugs are the same
Blobfish
category.
are really just the pugs of the ocean.
That's right.
So
That is
whichever
right.
one of our faculty members gives the best, not necessarily the correct, but the best answer, Jesse will award points. Our first question. There are many collective nouns, an exaltation of larks, a murder of crows, a pod of whales. Pugs are no different. What is the collective noun for a group of pugs? Nate, what's your answer?
A pond. I almost messed that up. Oh my gosh. No, it's pond. It's a pond of pugs.
Okay, so a pond of pugs. Marie, what's your answer?
Nate's correct that there is some alliteration with it. It is another P word. It is actually a puddle of pugs, because when you get multiple pugs all together, they sort of just all get all snuggled up, and they just like a little pug puddle. It's a puddle of pugs.
Puddle of pugs. Molly, what's
No,
your
I
call?
won't.
Both are very cute, and I have heard maybe tossed around once or twice, but it's actually a smoosh. It's a smoosh of pugs, because they're little smooshy faces. And so they're all little smooshies, and it goes, oh, look at that little smoosh of pugs, because they get a little smooshy
All
face.
right. Yeah, smoosh a pug. Steve, what's your answer?
Everyone was really close with the alliteration, but here's what I've been led to believe is the actual answer. It is a pod racer of pugs. Now this is pod racing.
All right, a pod racer of pugs. So, Jesse, we had Nate with a pond of pugs, Marie with a puddle of pugs, Molly with a smoosh of pugs, and Steve going with the Bunta Eve festivities, a pod racer of pugs. The correct answer was a grumble of pugs.
That's nice.
Aww,
A
grumble.
grumble.
That's fitting.
So, Jesse,
Yes.
how would you like to score?
Well, first, I wanted to say that I was already laughing from the moment you asked the question, because this was a question I actually knew the answer to with grumble. And I was like, I can't say anything. I can't say anything. But one of the most creative things I think I've heard is a puddle of pugs. I'm gonna give it to puddle of pugs, because that just sounds
you.
right. It just
All
you know,
right.
There were some.
And you want to
some
be
good
in
run-outs
that
there.
puddle.
All right. Now, how many points would you like to give to Marie?
I would like to give. You know what? I'm gonna give 10 pug tails out of 10.
10 pugtails out of
Thank
10.
you.
So our next question. According to the American Kennel Club, pugs got their name from where? So where did the word pug come from? Marie, what's your answer?
It came from England. There are a lot of dogs that are they were part of the royal family, and pugs were part of the royal family in England. And it actually came from one of the princes when he was a little boy. He was out playing in the yard, and he couldn't say dog. He could not say the D of dog. And so he was saying pug, 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 while he was running around chasing after these little adorable creatures. And therefore, the royal family just moved forward with that.
Which is good. Otherwise, they'd be known as duds. Molly, what's your answer?
It's actually from the Greek goddess Gup. Obviously well known for her loyalty and best friendedness. So we didn't want to just steal the whole name of her. So what they did was they got really creative and then just flipped it around. So they turned Gup to Pug, and they are actually the official dog of the goddess Gup.
Oh.
Makes perfect sense. Steve, what's your answer?
So when they first started breeding pugs, this horrifyingly cute combination of God knows what, they noticed it tended to urinate more than most dogs. And so they just started calling it the pee dog, and that later just became pug.
All right, so a portmanteau of pee dog. Nate, what's your call?
It came from the year 2055. A man named Pugsley Coppersmith created the pug. It's actually much like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. It was made in a lab, but he felt bad that he had the only one, so he then created a time machine, went back in time, started breeding pugs, and loved it there. And he stayed in that time frame of the Jurassic Park era, and pugs were created.
All right, so from Nate, we have back to the grumble. So we have Marie with the English royal family. We have Molly, it's Gup, goddess of loyalty and best friendedness. And Steve, P-Dog.
Love that rapper.
Nate, we have a 2055 Pugsley Coppersmith and a time machine. All of these were answers.
Yes.
The correct answer was the fact that it is believed that the breed was named after the marmoset monkey, which were known as pug monkeys in the early 18th century. They were very popular pets, so the pug was named after the monkey. Again, all answers very good. Jesse, as a recap, we have Marie with the English royal family, Molly with Gup the goddess, Steve with P-Dog, and Nate with 2055 Pugsley Coppersmith. How would you like to score?
Well, this is a difficult one, as I already gave up all my pugtails.
10 out of 10 pugtails. What else is left?
I know. I gotta think of something else on the pug. They don't really have much of a nose. You can't really give that away.
How about wrinkles?
Yes.
Ooh,
yes.
Infinite wrinkles, really.
That's true. You can never have enough wrinkles. There were so many good background stories to these. I really liked the idea of the Greek goddess named Gup, but my heart ultimately had to land on Pugsley Coppersmith's time machine. I think it would make an amazing live action film. I would love to see that. But
who would you cast in that? I'm curious who Pugsley Coppersmith would be.
Pugsley Coppersmith? That's a very good question.
I mean, it sounds like a Johnny Depp
Daniel
character,
Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, that's perfect.
Needs to be Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah,
So
and it's just indie sounding enough where he'd probably be all over it.
Yeah.
I would
how
personally
many
cast...
wrinkles would you like to give?
Oh, yes. No. I think I would give... Man, this is a tough one. But there's infinite wrinkles. There's infinite wrinkles. 100 wrinkles.
100 wrinkles.
Wow. Wrinkles. Yes.
All right.
What's the exchange rate between tails, blobfish, and wrinkles? This is very important that we break this down.
One for one.
It's
that seems fair.
I think the real exchange rate is dependent upon the pressure of the room that the blobfish is in.
That's true. I would have just said look it up on cryptocurrency websites. It'll be on there somewhere.
So there you go. All right, our third question in 4 questions. Like many breeds, pugs were bred for a specific purpose. What was that purpose, Molly?
It was for nestling right in this area when you're lying in bed, so that you got this perfect little smoosher, perfect little smoosher that just snuggles there and curls up, kind of like a pillow, can use it as a pillow. So it was bred specifically to be a snuggler, basically.
Bred as a snuggler. Steve, what's your answer?
Well, you said it in your question there, Bob. I caught you there. You said pugs were bred. Pugs were originally created as a thing to transport sandwich meat and cheese into your mouth. The Russian army, they were stuck in the Alps. They were having a bad day. And they were like, we have tons of these dogs that we could breed really quick and tiny little dogs for food, for sustenance. And that's how we get that. Pugs.
Now, not for food and sustenance like you would think, but literally as waiters to deliver sandwiches.
Exactly. Thank you for clearing that up. Thank you, Bob.
I'm more asking because that's exactly what you said starting off.
I was doing
improv
sentence.
Where
I just said yes to whatever you were saying. Yes. No.
All right.
Originally, I intended that you were consuming the pugs. Yes, pugs were bred. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Is that too dark?
No, that's fine.
Okay, great.
No, pug, they look like a loaf of bread. It makes
Desperate
sense.
times,
Nate, what's your
desperate
answer?
Measures.
I'm still trying to work through Steve's answer in my head. I don't know which way to go with it. When they were used as a transportation vehicle, I was actually on board with you because the real answer is that they were meant to be kind of a workhorse, except in dog form. They're used on farms to like pull plows and things like that, specifically ant farms. And the proportions is like they're a little bit bigger than an ox to a human. So it works really well. They get really good crops in those ant farms. The uncle farms have chihuahuas.
And dog livestock. Marie,
Nice.
what's your answer?
As we all know, pugs are like really small. They're about, baby sized. So there was this time in the world where homes were not heated yet, and they had to take on other ways of keeping places warm. And one of the places that they wanted to keep warm were the baby bassinets to warm up the bassinet before putting your baby in, so it enters a warm bassinet. Pugs were bred as bassinet warmers.
Bassinet warmer. So we have Molly with the original cuddle pillow. We have Steve with pugs were bred specifically for sandwiches.
Yeah.
We have Nate that they were livestock dogs on an ant farm, and we have Marie with baby bassinet warmers. Disturbing as it is to say this, two of you were actually very, very close.
Oh, Lord.
Ant farms and sandwiches.
No, not that.
They were, of course, bred. No. Pugs were bred, however, to be lap dogs for Chinese emperors, specifically to also help in warming. So all answers. Yeah, two of them actually pretty close.
So they made your lap toasty.
Lap toast. Jesse, how would you like to score?
Oh man, there were so many good answers. It's really hard, and I can't even think about what I'd give as the score for this one. I think if we're just talking about the usefulness of what you can use a pug for, I want to give you all points because you can use a pug
Great.
for bread. You can use the pug
Yeah,
for snuggling. You can do anything with a pug. So I'm going to say you all get an equal amount of pug hugs for this one.
Aw.
Good.
Go with an
Yeah.
arbitrary number. How about 8? 8 pug hugs.
Eight.
to all of
Perfect.
you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes.
8 pug hugs across the board.
I want that
So-
for real.
No, honestly.
We all do.
Our next and last question of 4 questions. The pug is the official breed of the House of Orange. So they are the official breed of the Dutch House of Orange. Why? Steve, what's your answer?
So you were all familiar with the Flying Dutchman, of course, and one night the Flying Dutchman was out. He needed to fly, and luckily he knew a wizard, and this wizard had some magic flying dust. And the wizard was like, well, we need to put this upon some sort of transportation device. And he's like, well, I know these transportation devices for food. And he's like, oh, that'll work. What are they? They have 4 legs and they look like little loaves of bread. Let's throw it on there. And on that magical night, those pugs flew the Flying Dutchman.
Pugs on the Flying Dutchman. Nate, what's your answer?
Well, it's the House of Orange. What they used the pugs for, and the reason that they took on such a heavy weight in that house is because they didn't know when to stop the spray tans. So what the pugs did, they just had this uncanny natural ability to just sit on the cord at the right time. So that way they were just the right amount of orange. And as the household grew, the pug numbers grew. It became a flock and grumble of pugs.
All right. Trained to stop the spray tan.
That's a t-shirt right there, guys. Flock and grumble of pugs.
Marie, what's your answer?
Well, as of the House of Orange, the pugs had their noses are quite smushed and they have a lot of breathing problems. But they have a very, very, very keen scent for vitamin C, specifically in oranges. So these pugs would be able to sniff out any orange in the city at the time, and they were big fans of those orange-seeking pugs.
That makes a lot of sense in the age of scurvy. Molly, what's your answer?
Yes.
Well, I used a lot of mind energy just trying to follow along the previous answers.
Honestly, if you could break it down for us, that would be great.
So, actually, what people get confused about is that the House of Orange is actually an orange house. And so these pugs were the doormen at the House of Orange, and the very special attribute that they brought to the house and why they were so coveted was that they could smell when the Dutch oven was done cooking and would then bark, so everyone knew it was time for tea.
Oh. Doormen, more like adorable men.
Oh, so true.
These were all word-based answers. We have
we'll impress
Steve.
Bob with their answers.
I don't know.
We have Steve with the Flying Dutchman. We have Nate, where they were trained to stop a spray tan. We have Marie, where they could scent out the vitamin C in oranges. And we have Molly with the doorman of the House of Orange, who
Adorable
can
man.
smell Dutch ovens. So,
Now that's a superpower right there.
so
It's Dutch oven man.
all answers. Some were actually adjacent to correct. The correct answer was in 1572, the pug Pompey barked and warned Prince William of Orange of an approaching assassin.
Wow.
They've been the official breed of the House of Orange ever since.
I mean, an assassin and a Dutch oven, they're not that much different if you think
It's
about
basically synonymous.
it.
Yeah, and if done properly, they are both silent but deadly. Jesse, how would you like to score?
Well, I like you were saying, I want to pick an answer that's adjacent to the truth. And the first answer, one of the answers, sorry, not the first. I'm getting out of order. but the right answer.
That first one sucked.
No, forget about that first. No. The real answer about it warning a general saving its life, I have to think about what in a situation could a pug be saving your life every day? And I want to give it to the doorman. I love my doorman.
Yeah.
Doorman are great. And
All right.
a nice pug doorman is what you need in your life. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
How many points would you like to give?
I don't have a doorman. I'm kidding. I don't have a doorman.
I was like, Jesse's big time, man, out here in LA with his doorman.
No doorman.
Just a
here.
pug.
Just a pug.
So
Actually,
Jesse,
I have a doorman. It's my 5-year-old son. He just opens the door all the time.
Were you raised in a barn?
how many points would you like to give Molly?
I would like to give Molly, you know what? I'll give her 10 pug wrinkles and an extra pug snort.
Yes.
Whoa.
All right, 10 pug wrinkles, an extra pug snort. That leads us to our points, and our points are: I am in last place with 0 points. Next, we have Steve with 13, Marie with 18, Molly with 19, and our reigning champion, Nate Green, with 108.
So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. We learned that part. Yeah.
So join us for a conversation with Jesse, audio, video editor, and electronic music artist, when we return to Balderdash Academy. Go Dashers! For complete episodes and more, visit us at balderdashacademy.com.
Ooh-wee, it is time to dive deep into the mind of Jesse Thal and explore his processes around editing for small mom-and-pop companies like Warner Brothers, Netflix, and Universal. We also tap into the inner Bob Ross aspects of Jesse and learn his passion for his musical creations, his heartwarming affinity for online Street Fighter games, and this and more on the next episode of Balderdash Academy.
Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. You can find us on your favorite podcast service as Balderdash Academy. Go Dashers!